Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good evening, everyone. So welcome to this webinar. I'm hosting from beautiful Istanbul on thriving in the business landscape with BG5. It is my absolute pleasure to be with all of you today. I'm your host, Banu, and I certainly hope all of you will have a great hour and benefit from this content. So let me begin, but just a little bit telling you about me and where my path actually crossed with BG5. So I've been in the IT industry for 25 years. I've held 16 different roles throughout my career. I'm an instructor at the BG5 Business Institute, as many of you know, and I'm a consultant of BG5. And I have done many advanced certifications as well. And I've led successful business teams in many countries. I'm also a breath coach and a mind coach. And I do see some people and familiar faces joining. So welcome, welcome to all of you again and again. So I came across human design, I believe it was in 2015, at this practice where I was learning to be a mind coach, actually. And at that time, we were talking about how your mind rules your life with decisions and thoughts that are not necessarily good for you or serve you. And there were 2 days of an intro to human design. And I remember during that time, I was so drawn to this knowledge, I could not wait to hear more. And I knew I loved human design knowledge once I started getting to know it. But it was when I found BG5 that I knew this is where I wanted to be and grow. So I had been in the corporate world for many years, and this is what I knew, right? I knew the business world, actually. So I thought this is where I can add value. This is where I can make a difference. So that's how I started walking the BG5 path. And learning this information has been so valuable for me. Number one, on the personal side, knowing how to live my life in alignment with my design, learning how to interact with others as well, how to treat my children even, understanding we are all different. It made so much of a difference for me. Number two, in my career, I truly believe I would not have been where I am, leading multiple teams and multiple geographies at a top IT company worldwide. I would not be where I am had I not encountered this knowledge and had I not started my journey of experimenting with it. And number three, in managing my team as a people manager, it has helped me tremendously. Knowing how to guide and lead, personalize for that person. So everything is smooth, knowing who in the team brings which skills to the table, where are their strengths and where could be their pitfalls. It's really made a difference in my business life. So as you can see, I'm a BG5 enthusiast. That's why I went as far as teaching it. So as many people in the world can know this and really benefit from it. The legacy I want to leave behind is being someone who has helped many people bring the best out of themselves. Maybe some of you know, BG5 will also help you understand your life purpose and why you're here in this world as well. And my life purpose is being a great teacher, furthering education and change, always interested in what comes next. Oh, I am getting some messages. You're not able to see the video. Is it coming through?
I can still see. How about
All
everyone?
Right, lovely. Great, great. Thank you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when I first learned about my life purpose and being so interested in this information and being invited to actually teach it, it gives me goosebumps, right? It's just been a great journey, so much unveiling around why I'm here, and it's just helped me thrive both personally and in the business world. So it is my great pleasure to host all of you in this webinar. And if you're ready, let's begin. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I am doing the recording, which I am. That's great. All right, so now let's take a deeper look at how things are changing. Yes, because the webinar is called Thriving in the Changing Business World and how BG5 can actually help you, which approach you can take. Yeah, so we can begin by taking a look at how things are changing. So as many of you have been experiencing, the world order is changing. Yes, the business is changing. And the expectations of the workforce, people like us who are in the business world, are also changing. So we're seeing economic downturn, inflation, people being concerned for how things will be as we move into the future. There are layoffs worldwide. It's causing the white-collar workers to be stressed. People in many corporate companies do not know if they'll have a job the next day, whether they'll be hit by one of those layoff waves and they have to leave. And it's making people agitated and stressed because our brains are wired to make sure we are safe and that we can safely move into the future. Yes. And what's happening right now is really challenging that and causes a stress response in many. And as we have all experienced, hybrid work is here to stay. Yes, that's one of the other changes that's already happened. Yes, and is here to stay. However, it's also causing some problems as well. Some companies are asking employees to return. Some are saying people are becoming less engaged with their companies because they're always working from home. Some people love staying home, right? But they miss the interaction. So it's a gives and gets situation, but it will stay, and that's part of the change as well. So in the past, work was a place for us to go to. It no longer is. Yes. And some people have quit their jobs. Some have quietly quit, meaning they're employed, but they just do the bare minimum and no more. And a few are hanging in there and happy and engaged. That's about 23% according to a recent study, and we'll take a look at that. Yeah. And I do see a question, will there be a recording of the webinar because Tiziana cannot stay till the end? Yes, there will be a recording, so don't worry, stay as long as you can. And then if questions, put them in the chat and I'll try to answer them before you leave. If not, catch up on the recording and you can always catch up with me, right? So things are changing. And the question is, are you feeling those changes too? Yeah, I'm sure many of you will agree that we all are. So you might remember a couple of years ago, we had this phenomenon called the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation has been one of the most impactful side effects of the pandemic, yes, which provided workers time and solitude, really, to reflect, to re-examine, and to redirect their professional lives. And what happened is many decided to leave. And that amounted to 50 million people just in the US. So it's a lot. And there are many reasons as to why people are quitting their jobs, yes, including frustration, feeling undervalued, maybe work-life imbalance, inflexibility, exhaustion, lack of growth opportunities. And many companies have really mobilized and poured their current into their recruitment strategies, offering something better to their employees so they can really retain and appeal to their top talents. And they say the Great Resignation is over, yes, but it's still a phenomenon. So we're still seeing it. And it has become such an important social phenomenon that Beyonce even made a song about it. Yes, and it's called Break My Soul. And it's almost become an anthem for the Great Resignation and what came after the Great Resignation, really. And if you take a look at the lyrics, you will see it's beautifully said. So it says, and I just quit my job. I'm going to find new drive. They work me so hard, work by 9, then off past 5. That's why I can't sleep at night. And it says, I'm looking for motivation. I'm looking for a new foundation. And I'm on that new vibration. So when I heard the song, I loved how accurate the lyrics were in explaining what's happening and how people are really feeling. So how about you? How are you feeling? Are you one of those people who are considering leaving your company? Or maybe you're considering changing your role? Or maybe you've just been someone who's just been laid off. Yes, it can happen to anybody. And you might be contemplating on what's next for you. Or maybe you like your business or job, but you'd like some changes for it to suit you better. So, well, the BG5 knowledge can really help you uncover what's right for you and make the right decisions for you as you make your move. Yes. Or you might be a business owner whose employees might be considering change as well. So, how will you handle that? How will you hire the right people? BG5 knowledge can also help you there. Or maybe you're a consultant or a coach who could really help all those people for the next move in their business lives. Then again, BG5 provides great tools for you to assist and coach these people to make the right choices. Yes. And give the right decisions at the right time for themselves. So as you can see from, some of the examples we've been going over, people definitely have discovered what they do not want. But how do they know what they want or feel more comfortable in, or be in a job that they can do with ease? So, well, this is where BG5 provides tremendous support, no matter who you are or at which perspective you sit on this shift. So people all over the world in the workforce are disengaged. So if you are feeling disengaged or not fulfilled by your work, you're not alone. Okay. So I brought to you this study from Georgetown University. It's a very recent study that was supported by the Bank of America, I think. They did this study of younger adults who are working. They are like 24 to 32 years old. Okay. So they found that 68% view their work mainly as a way to make a living, but not as a major part of their identity or personal fulfillment. Can you imagine that? So considering that we spend a lot of hours at work, and according to BG5, especially if you're a builder, you came here to work, to love what you do and to do what you love. And builders are 70% of the population, and it could be very detrimental to someone's being to just work for a paycheck and feel this way. And people are actually feeling this way. Here is another study. It's again a recent study from Gallup that I brought to you. Most people in the business world are also quite quitting, meaning they are not engaged, or they are loud quitting, meaning they are actively disengaged. So when we talk about thriving at work, yes, and according to this study, it was 23% of the people that, and this is a large study, it's a very large sample from all over the world that they worked on, I believe. When we talk about thriving at work, these employees find their work meaningful. They feel connected to the team, to their organization. They feel proud of the work they do. They take ownership of their performance. They go the extra mile for their teammates and customers. When we talk about quiet quitting, these employees are filling a seat and watching the clock. Yes, they put in the minimum effort required. They might be psychologically disconnected from their employer. And although they are minimally productive, they're more likely to be stressed and burnt out than the engaged workers because they feel lost and so disconnected from their workplace. And then we have the loud quitters. These employees take action. They might take action to directly harm the organization because at some point along the way, the trust between the employee and the employer is severely broken. Or this employee has been placed woefully in the mismatched role and is causing a lot of stress and crisis. Yeah. So as you can see, the percentages are very high. And Gallup estimates that this low engagement costs the global economy around 8.8 trillion US dollars, and it accounts for 9% of the global GDP. So it's a huge amount. Yeah. But for the purposes of this webinar, of course, we're more interested in what it costs the employee, yes, as opposed to the economy or the company. So given the huge portion that work holds in our daily lives, it might cause a person in the business world their well-being once they start being disengaged. Yeah. So we have to watch for the signs. What's happening to you in your workplace? Are you engaged? Are you feeling disengaged a little bit? Have you already quit, but you're hanging in there? Give it some thought. It's always so beneficial to be true to yourself. You might not want to share it with others. You might want to share it with some close people as well, but it's always nice to turn inwards and see where you are in this journey of being engaged, loving what you do, and doing what you love. Yeah. Another phenomenon that also happened is that many people who quit their jobs, they went into business for themselves. Yeah? And this has been also, it's been recorded that so many new companies have been set up because after questioning whether they want to do that job, many people started doing their own thing. So as you can see, people in the business world are really changing. They're really looking for what's right for them. Is it changing companies? Is it working for the role that will allow you to work from home, for example? You might also be very early in your journey in your career, and you might be trying to decide what's right for you as well. Yes, I do see some people I know, young audiences who are early in their careers as well. And it's really important to understand what drives you, what moves you forward, because you're going to spend so long hours working, you should love what you do. Otherwise, it could really be detrimental to anybody's being that disengaged. Yeah. So you could also be, you could be quitting altogether, trying to live with the bare minimum. You could be setting up your own company. Yes, it could be many things, whatever serves you as a person. But people are contemplating on all of this and what's next for them. Yes, so there's a lot going on. And the BG5 information could really help us personally on the personal level, and also for us to assist in helping those around us, our employees, be it our co-workers, clients, or be able to coach them as well, because it provides the right tools for people to be able to make those decisions that are right for them, and to understand what drives them in a way based on their career type and their decision-making strategy. I also wanted to share this quote from LinkedIn CEO. And this kind of summarizes it in a nutshell. So in this part that I've highlighted on the slide, you have employees globally who are rethinking not just how they work, but why they work and what they most want to do with their careers and lives. Yes. So to me, BG5 is a great tool that can help shed light to the search for what's right for individuals, for teams, and also for bigger organizations. So I'd like to give you some context in looking at the BG5 information and also why this information is so important, especially now in the changing business landscape. So we have reviewed some very vivid examples of how work is changing. So things are shifting. Yes, what once worked no longer works in the way that it used to. So this slide is actually, and the next slide, so these couple of slides are from the first class of the foundation course that we teach. And I've been using these slides for quite some time now, many years now. And every time I teach it, every passing year, I'm awed by how much change is really happening and how much is actually materializing. So according to BG5, we have been in an era of what's called the era of planning for the past 400 somewhat years. And we are in this transitional phase right now, moving from the era of planning to the era of the individual. Yes. So here is a quote from Ra Uru, who is the founder of this knowledge, actually. So here's what he said. He said, the whole direction is a shock, and it's going to be a shock. And to be able to operate correctly as yourself, to operate in a world that will demand nothing less. Yes, it's a world that will embrace those who can operate as themselves. And it goes on, and he talks about how confusion and chaos arises from being dependent. Yes, dependency is about giving up our own authority. And because that's the background vibration in this past many, many years, that's how we're behaving. Yes. And we'll go deeper into this, but the most important thing is really to be able to operate as your true self. Being true to yourself and making the correct decisions with your decision-making strategy are key. I didn't prepare those slides, but we've been all taught that we should think through things. Yes, make decisions with your mind. The thing is, your mind is full of things that you have been taught. It's full of things that the society taught you, that your parents taught you, all the conditioning that you got. Yeah, and it should not be your decision-making authority. Okay, because your mind doesn't know the future's potential. It usually bases everything on what it's learned. So if you are true to yourself, you're able to make correct decisions with your decision-making strategy. And also by aligning to your true self, you will not be getting distracted by your shadows or, and all the conditioning that you got throughout the years, but to be able to use that in a healthy way. Yes. So if you're able to use the mechanics in a healthy way when you're aligned with what's correct for you, yes, things will go with ease, okay, instead of pushing things to happen. And we're really moving into a world that will embrace all those who can operate as themselves, okay? And if you look around, you will see at the moment, most people are not. Most people, according to human design terms, are operating as their not self. Yes, they're operating out of their shadows, out of distractions. They're not trusting themselves, and they're asking for everybody else's opinion or following along, the trends and everything. And now, as you can see, people are really questioning what's right for them, what company or job is right for them, for example. And maybe you are too. Yes, things are shifting. So again, it's really important to learn how to depend on yourself, because in essence, it's really the only thing that you can trust in these shifting times. And one of the things about human design and BG5 is that there are many, many assessment tools out there. But what I found is that this is the one system that literally maps out not only how we operate as individuals, but it really maps out the mechanics of how the universe operates as well. Yeah? So it's really moving from that place, from getting lost in the chaos and confusion to where you really need to be able to where you can really trust yourself and make decisions with confidence. Yes, if you operate correctly as yourself, you will be able to do that. Yes, And it's going to be more and more essential as the time passes. So according to BG5, according to human design, it's 2027 that the actual change is happening. But we're feeling it right now, yes? And the closer we get to the date, the more shifts that we will see. So we are in a major time of transition and also transformation. Yes, things that used to work are starting to break down. So what once worked no longer works, both personally and in business. So just to give you a sense of where we've been and where we're going. And this is the BG5 view of what's happening. And it's not a new slide that was made to match what's really going on. We've been teaching this for years. Ra said it so many years ago that this shift was going to be happening around this time. Yes. So the past 400 somewhat years was about planning, where we've seen the rise of all the institutions, large corporations, education systems, health, governments, industry were also, created during this era, the age of planning. And it has been about the bargain, if you think about it, especially in the workplace. You do this for the company and we will pay you X amount. This is how the businesses were built. If you think about it, it's also been about focus concentration. Yes, I'm talking about the past 400 years now. Think of the factory jobs where people are doing the same thing over and over. Yes, and there's also this hierarchy and a system of power. And you start down at the bottom and you get promoted up the ladder. Yes, and there was also a focus on learning the skills for the job. Think of the 4-year universities, community colleges, trade schools. Yes, and if you're weak in a certain area, you must focus there to develop the necessary skills, whether you like it or not. Yes, that's how the system has been designed. So what happens is we let go of our own inner knowing, and we put all our trust and faith in the experts, in the leaders, scientists, the gurus, yes, the government. And nowadays, with all the information that's available at our fingertips, it's really hard to know who or what to trust. Yeah. So the age of planning is all about the individual working alone for the good of the community. You worked for the community. Yes. However, right now, the age of individuality and the individual is upon us. That's why we're seeing these systems and structures being broken. A good example would be, for example, the banking system. Yes, it was set up. You have to go to a bank. This is how transactions are done. The government is able to monitor it. And now we have all the blockchains, these decentralized systems that are breaking the system. So that's another way of a good example of how things are also changing at the moment. So now with the age of individuality, the focus is really shifting. So instead of bargains, it's about self-empowerment and also empowering others as well. So that's why people are asking more questions now. They're quitting their jobs. Yes, they don't want to stay if the job doesn't feel correct for them, for example. It's also about contemplation and wisdom. It's about wanting to know the bigger picture. Where do we fit into the whole? It's not just about being a part of the system, but being able to contribute as an individual to the system. That's the background vibration right now. And instead of the systems of power, it's about the abundance of spirit, expressing who we really are. Yes, not getting some label to be able to climb up some corporate ladder, for example. Yeah? So you could think of all those people, for example, we spoke about it, many people leaving their corporate jobs and titles to do their own thing. Yeah? It's becoming less important now, those titles and where you are on the corporate ladder type of thing. So instead of focusing also on our weaknesses, trying to gain the skills that we're weak, this time is about trusting our own unique gifts and talents. And BG5 can really help you uncover your gifts and talents. Okay. So doing what we're good at, doing what we love, and let others do the rest. Yes, the rest is not our job. So in a nutshell, it's about trusting ourselves, trusting our inner knowing, not relying on the so-called experts, but taking care of it for our own good personally. Yes. And also, it's not about the individual working for the good of the community or the system, but it's about breaking down the barriers to bond with others. So this is one of the biggest pieces I love about BG5. Human design is more focused on who we are as individuals. BG5 is who we are in relationship to others. So if you think about it, the only way to really make money is through some sort of relationship with the other, yes? So all of us, whether we work for ourselves or we work for a company or for someone else, we have a service that we're offering to someone else in exchange for cash, yes, or for money. So it's really important for us to really learn and understand that uh, at some level, either personally or professionally, yes, again, understanding your career type is the first step in really being you. So are you a builder who came to do a lot of work? You have the energy that you must really exhaust doing something you love. Maybe you're an advisor, you came here to guide the process, or you might be an initiator like Andy to initiate things. And then according to your career type, you can also understand how your energy works and what's the best way forward for you with ease. Yes. So the more we are truly who we are as individuals, the more we can connect into who we are as part of the whole as well. Yes. And right now we're just in this process and transitions are happening. Yes. And the more individuals can know and understand this information, the more personally you will be protected and less in shock and in chaos. Yes, because you will trust yourself and you will know that you're doing the right thing for you. And we're all different. So, human design is the science of differentiation. It talks about how we are all different. We're not the same. Yes, so what's correct for you is correct for you. To be able to uncover that, and BG5 will actually gives you that information and the tools necessary. Once you start working on it, you can really uncover the right path and that will move you into the future with ease. Yes. So what you can trust is yourself and your decision-making strategy. And as I mentioned, nothing operates in a vacuum in the business world. So maybe you might have wondered, why some environments feel comfortable and others feel really off for you, for example. Why do some teams thrive and others fail? Yes. For example, why you experience an energy drain being in one setting, whereas in other teams, you're really feeling great. Or you feel a click with a person and you might feel a resistance with some other, yes? You might also be seeing lots of miscommunication, but sometimes communication is just correct, yes? And you might also be wondering, what career will truly fulfill you as well. Yes. So we need to have relationships to exist and go on. And this is where BG5 provides in-depth knowledge actually in unveiling the hidden dynamics of relationships and coexisting. Yeah, because we operate in a synthesis. Even if as an individual, we are operating in this background frequency and these mechanics that are always at play. So here you can see I talked about a lot of tools. BG5 will provide you a lot of tools to understand what's correct for you. Yes. And it will provide you the tools to help you thrive in the business world. Yes. So as you can see, we have these 4 basic tools or maps that really help you thrive in business with BG5. The first one and the first place to start for anybody individually to thrive in the business world is for you to understand your unique design and why you're here. So I mentioned this a moment ago as well. Human design is the science of differentiation. So BG5 gives you this map to your unique individuality in business and your career. Okay. And what happens is when you get your career design chart, and you start making sense of it, you can know how to make decisions with confidence at the right time. Yes. You can learn your interaction style and how you can move ahead in the business world with ease. You can learn your signposts. These signposts really allow you to see if you're on the right track or you're off track. You can find out about your strengths and you can start building on them. Because we talked about this too, because we're very much inclined since childhood to focus on things that we must improve. But it is so much easier to build on what you already have. So what are your strengths? Your BG5 career design chart will tell you, and it will also tell you how this applies to the business world and how you can make use of it in the business world. And at the same time, you can find out about your shadows and how they can impact you at work and your career. And through an understanding of your design and aligning to your true self, you can begin to thrive in business. So for those of you who are interested, if you went to the BG5 Business Institute's website, you can retrieve your chart, and they also give you this free short report that actually starts prepping you and tell you about all these things. So I encourage all of you, if you've never looked at your chart before or looked at the basics of how you operate to thrive in business, take a look. That could be a good starting point for you. Okay. And we said nothing exists in a vacuum and everything is interdependent in the business world. So, and there are other tools for BG5, which help you start make meaning of coexistence. Okay, be it at a partnership level, be it at a small team or small business level, or at a bigger organization or corporate level. So you can understand, for example, if you are designed to work in partnership. And of course, not all partnerships are created equal. So you can also understand which partnerships are right for you. You could understand through this, let me see if I can bring this up, my pointer. Yes, through this chart, this is a small team or penta chart actually. You could understand if you belong in a small group or team. Which business skills do you bring to the table? Yeah. Or which skills are easy for you to learn, for example. And if you're a manager, discover if your team has business functionality to be successful in business. Okay. You can learn how to interact with your employees and how you can interact better with them according to their design and how to drive the best with them. Also, we have a tool that enables you to find out if you will fit into larger organizations or corporate settings. Which departments and roles are best for you, for example? Which areas will you be pulled into and also be successful? So these are the 4 tools where BG5 can really support you thrive in business. And all these charts and maps will be unique to you and to your team and to your organization. And you can think of it like getting a magnifying glass that allows you to see the things that you cannot see, quote unquote, with the naked eye. Okay. So this information is so deep and it has got so many layers. You will be awed by its depth and its accuracy. And when I start talking to people about their design or their team structure through the BG5 lens, they're really amazed. And they usually ask me, how do you know that much about me? How do you know that much about my team dynamics? And how can you be so accurate about it? Yeah. So it really sheds light into things that went by unnoticed. And it's amazing because when something is brought to our awareness, we can really do something about it. Yes, if it's going unnoticed, some things are happening mechanically in the background and you don't notice it, or there are things that your mind jumps in and you don't even notice about yourself. How can you take action, or how can you make a change? Yes, awareness is the key, and these tools bring you the awareness to start your own experimentation with things. Okay. So how can you try with BG5? So I wanted to bring you some practical applications of this knowledge. that can really support you to thrive in business. So if you're a manager, for example, you could really guide your employees to create impact and grow in their roles and careers. I've used it a lot in my corporate life myself. If you're a business owner, how can you be more successful in your business? So we have the tools that will allow you to look into that. Or maybe you're a coach or consultant, or you want to be one. How do you empower your clients to really, find fulfillment? Or maybe they're trying to make a change in their career. How can you help them? How can you guide them? Yes. You could know this. You could also utilize this information to help startups, for example, create a business launch that's successful. If you are in the field of HR or recruiting, you could really place individuals at the right roles and create a resilient organization as well. The information can be used with children to help them reach their potential, or high school seniors, college students as well. Which direction do they take in their careers and studies? It can be used by solopreneurs. We have profiting by being you. We have the profit potential part of this as well. How can you profit by being you only? You could really help people bring out the potential in their career as well. The information can be used by struggling business owners with their business and their teams. Even small, nonprofit organizations can really use this information because it applies to everybody. And more importantly, you can use the information to bring the best out of yourself. Yes. So it's really hard to go into too much detail in a short webinar. Yes, but there's a lot of information on the BG5 BI website as well, and some free reports as well that you can start. There's always a starting point that you can start. And for those of you who are really interested to learn more, I also brought on the slides to you this brief look at the curriculum that the BG5 Business Institute is currently offering. I brought it here because there's always a question about what's offered. So here it is proactively. As you can see, you start with the foundation courses. This is the foundational knowledge. It's about understanding yourself and where you belong, making the right decisions, and everything. Also understanding others, because we're all so different. Helping everybody, understanding everybody else also helps. So this is this information we'll learn at the foundational level. And then for those of you who are interested to move into consultancy, you can go into the consultants. If you wanted to really use this information to help others, you could go into this. Here we also take a look at teams, bigger organizations. Is another certification, and we also have the profit potential as well. This is all about profiting by being you. Yes, and all this information is also on the BG5 BI website, but I wanted to bring it to you because I know the question will be there to be asked. So all these tools are available for anyone to try. The thing to really have an awareness about, if there's maybe one thing you wanted to take from this webinar, is that if you can trust yourself, if you can understand yourself, how you're designed to operate, yes, because you were born into your parents, into your society, into the country you were born with, we get all these conditioning. And the way it works is societies work in a way that everybody's taught the same things. Yes, we teach the children the same things at schools. There are cultural norms that everybody needs to abide by. There are perceptions that your parents have, or people who have been influential in your life have, and this is all the conditioning you get. And we also tend to make a lot of decisions with our minds that doesn't really help. So if you're able to somewhere start to understand yourself, it's a great start. And if you can learn how to operate by your career type, how do you interact, how does your energy work, and how do you make decisions, you've solved 70% of the equation. Okay, but it takes an experimentation really to be able to really do this. Yeah. So I also brought another slide, and Andy, maybe I'll also give the word to you, because the next question, the first question I get at the end of every webinar is how is the curriculum looking and how can we learn more? And then we also have, when is the next class? So I also brought that here. So my next class, which Andy will be supporting, will be beginning next week, actually. And Andy, if you would also like to say a few words around you and how BG5, these tools have helped you personally, it would be great.
Thank you, Banu. Yeah, thank you for today and for having me here. Yeah, I came to human design BG5 fairly late in life, I guess. I just turned 50, or I was about to turn 50. And what I discovered was that it brings together a whole lot of things that I have learned, and also filled in a bunch of gaps from things that hadn't gelled or hadn't quite learned about myself. Through meditation and working with teachers, exploring things like the Enneagram and learning a little about introversion, extroversion, the Myers-Briggs. It really it promised to fill in these gaps, and I felt like it was a system that I could understand very quickly. I was guessing the designs of people that I knew, and I was correct. It was kind of a bit spooky, and I felt more and more pulled in. My first reaction, as is often I hear, I don't know if specifically with initiators, but I thought, yeah, I don't want to know about another system. And I think partly it was because somebody was trying to introduce it to me. I had to find it myself, choose it myself, feel inspired to do it myself. So that's exactly what happened over the next few months. I just couldn't put it down. And so I either had to really drop it and focus on something else or study it. And I chose to study it. And yeah, as you begin to learn about your authority, one of the things was I felt very pulled to it, but my head was getting in the way. I was, I think I spoke to the instructor and was still, I'm not sure, but my whole being was sure that I was going to do this, and my head was in the way. And what I learned was someone with an emotional authority, as I have, it's never quite sure. We just have to learn to trust where an impulse is coming from or where doubts are coming from, that it's the mind or outside forces that are stopping us. So that's how I kind of discovered what eventually became BG5. I discovered human design and wanted to do something that was way more practical. I consider myself kind of practical. So I completed my consultant certificate, I guess, about 2.5 years ago, and have stayed in touch with some of the people running the institute. And then very much wanted to keep the learning going and keep in touch. So I've been supporting Banu. I supported Banu's certificate course for 3 semesters last year.
You did a beautiful job. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I find learning from another teacher. I studied with Natalie, and learning from another teacher. And what I'd like to say about Banu is how she has worked with this information slightly unofficially, I think, but with all her teams, right? So working at a large company, and has experienced how it works and how literally designing a team has helped the company and the productivity and the happiness of her team by knowing this knowledge. So I love how she brings that experience into the classes, and has a lot of, when people ask questions, she has a lot of personal experience from using it in her company to bring to it, to add to the theory of the course.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you for speaking about your experience and also introducing yourself. So we have covered all the content that I wanted to share. Okay, and the time is limited in a webinar, so we couldn't really go into too many details. But as I said, there's always, you can always go into, you can always get more information. Try to do it from the official sources. Yes. So right now, I would like to open it up for any questions. So if you have any questions, I'm wondering if it will allow you to raise your hand. Or I could allow everyone to talk. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if you would like to ask me a personal question, you can set up some time for me to talk to me. You can set up some time. You could go to my website, which is alignmentkey.com, and there you can book a 30 minutes with me if you wanted to talk to me as well. Or if there are any questions and you'd like to put them into the chat, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Right. Well, everyone, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time to be in this webinar, and also shout out to all of you who are catching up on the recording. Reach out if you have any questions, and take care, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.